Alright, in today's video, I'll be building you guys a fragrance collection out of my favorite picks for each budget. And I'll be using those wooden tiers for each category. There's cheap, medium, and expensive for your fragrance collection. And there's only 3 requirements. 1 summer, 1 everyday office, and then 1 winter special occasion. So that's 3 fragrances and a cheap, medium, and expensive budget. That's for today's video. Stay tuned. Okay, and I forgot to mention, we'll be doing 3 for each category so you can get a mix of what you like. This includes male and female and unisex options, so everyone can have a pick of what they like. So starting out, I'm gonna pick a cheap rotation, and this is more masculine leaning. So for my summer masculine leaning cheap one, first I'm going with Inferno by Bergermi. This is a really tropical mango. It's a dupe of God of Fire, as you can see I have the real one, and it's quite similar. Especially on a budget, this is really good. Very long lasting, and it gives you compliments every time you wear it, and it will last all day in the summer. Definitely recommend Inferno, and that's the first one going on. As you can see, Inferno has just been added to the tier for the cheap masculine category. Now we'll find our office everyday fragrance. I forgot to mention it's $45 for 100ml, so that is very cheap, especially for such a good fragrance. Now, for my office everyday cheap masculine fragrance, I think I'm gonna go with, Bergermi is definitely a great option, but we definitely do need to do some designer options as well. Do I have any office ones? Not really for a cheap. As you can see, I do have quite a few niche fragrances, so probably another Bergermi. And I think I know exactly the one. It is Emperor. There we go. It is a Creed Aventus Absolute clone. That's it. And it is so good. It lasts all day. It's not too overpowering. You know, it's nice, subtle, fruity, you know, the Aventus DNA, as everyone knows. But a bit of a twist, you know, the berries in it. And it's actually really pleasant. One of my first Bergermis, definitely worth it. And if you don't have Bergermi in your country, I think they are international, but if they don't do Emperor, another one, you could try find an Absolute clone, or if you want something similar, get Mont Blanc Explorer. That is a really good Aventus clone. I used to own it, one of my first very colognes. Really good, but this is definitely better in my opinion. Cheaper, longer lasting, smells great. Now Bergermi Emperor has been added to the tier of masculine cheap. Now we'll go for our winter / special occasion fragrance. Now with a winter special occasion, especially for a man, you want something, you can go for something sweet, but you definitely want something more woody, maybe even oud-y, but that is quite expensive to find oud on a budget. Not the fake oud, you know, like a nice, real oud. But, I mean, for masculine winter special occasions, you can't really go wrong with Agar by Bergermi. Now this is a Parfums de Marly Althea clone, and this is insane. It's their #1 seller for a reason. It's the vanilla, the orange, like the creaminess. It's just so good. Like I'm going to own it soon, very soon. But Bergermi Agar for my special occasion, manly, on a budget. And that is it. That is my 3 rotation if you're balling on a budget as a masculine man. That is Bergermi's Inferno, Bergermi Emperor, and Bergermi Agar. All these 3 are $45 for 100ml, so you can do the math around, you know, $130-ish. Definitely check them out. They'll last, 100ml will last you ages, unless you spray, you know, 30 sprays. This is lasting your whole high school, your whole life. Definitely can't go wrong. All right, now we'll be going on to unisex for the cheapies. Also, I forgot to mention, I'm not redoing any of these. So if I use one, I can't use it in another category. So that means like everything is different. So I'm not reusing the same ones and it doesn't get repetitive. All right, now for our unisex cheapies. Let's think. Well, cheapies, technically these are cheapies because Aaron Terence Hughes, I think they're like 50-ish around Australian, depends on the one. So that being said, now for a good summer one, I would definitely go with Supernova. This is a Creed Aventus on steroids. It is such a beast mode. It is so, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just Creed Aventus on steroids. Because as you know, all the new Creed Aventus batches are all piss weak, and you have to get the older batches, and then you're paying 500 plus for an old Creed Aventus batch, and then at that point, like, why would you pay that? $500 for Creed Aventus, the most duped fragrance, when you can get like a, you know, Bergermi dupe of it. But this is a dupe on steroids. It's not even a dupe, it's like a inspiration. It does smell similar, but it's just so much better. I don't know how to explain it. And as you can see, I have the 50 ml of it because it's so good. And you can buy samples in my store at fragranceoasis.org. But this is my first one for the unisex. Men and women can definitely wear this, and that's going for our cheapie one. Supernova by Aaron Terence Hughes is the first one to go in the cheapie unisex category. Now, for a unisex, cheap, office / everyday fragrance, just put it on, don't even think about it, just to smell nice, I would go with, well, Bergermi is really good, I'll tell you that, especially balling on a budget. And a unisex, well, let's see. I think I found it. Oh, yep. Unforgettable by Bergermi. This is a Louis Vuitton Symphony clone, which is $900 Australian, so it's quite expensive. But this dupe, 90% similar easily, and it lasts so long, and no one is going to be smelling like you. It's not like a popular DNA. No one really wears this stuff because it's so expensive. So you'll be smelling like $900, but realistically you'll be only paying $45. And men and women can wear this easily. I wear this actually quite a lot. Even though I have all these fragrances, this is one of my favorite Bergermis. And that is going in on the unisex cheapie category. Now we need to find our winter / special occasions. Now this one might actually surprise you, but it's gonna be a Zara The Most Wanted Parfum. Now you might be thinking, that is way too masculine for a girl to be wearing. But is it really? This is actually, it's not feminine, definitely not feminine, but it's also not that masculine either. It is quite sweet, you know, you get the ginger in it as well. It's just like a sweet toffee. Like, does that really sound masculine? Like, you know, angel share, it's like, that's not masculine, that's kind of feminine. So is this. It's like it's not feminine, but it's not masculine. Definitely unisex, definitely an attention grabber, and it's quite cheap. I think I picked this up for 130 Australian dollars in store for 100 ml. Can't really beat that, especially when you're on a budget. This is quite good, and it will definitely pull compliments, 100%. So this is going for our third unisex, and that is it. So that is for our cheapie unisex category. You got Aaron Terence Hughes Supernova, Unforgettable by Bergermi, and then a Zara The Most Wanted Parfum. Now, all up, I think this is $40 Australian, 45, so 95, and then 140. So you can do the math, probably 235. That could be fully wrong, but as you can see, I'm into fragrances, not maths. But anyways, so around $235, and this will last you a long time. Men and women can wear this, any age. There's not really like an age. I get some people say, oh yeah, fragrances for ages. Like you can't be a man, like a 60-year-old man wearing Strawberry with you intensely and stuff. But not really. As long as you smell nice, that's really the only thing. Like maybe if you're a teenager wearing Dior Fahrenheit, might be a bit off-putting, but besides that, there's not really ages or genders in my opinion. But I do get like feminine, you know, floral, and then oody men, but not really in my opinion. But anyway, here you go. Now we'll be going on to the feminine cheapy category. Now this is feminine cheapy category. So this is more for the females balling on a budget, wanting to smell nice for their man or female, you know, but just wanting to smell nice in general for themselves, like me. But let's see. For a summer hot day, as a woman, I would probably go with Gold. Now this is a Xerjoff Herbe Gold. As you can see, I have it right there. One of my favorite fragrances in my collection. And Gold actually got me into it. Because obviously at first, I did not have this sort of money to, you know, afford all the niche and high-end designers. So I started with Bergermies. And they actually helped me a lot. And this one really got me into Xerjoff. I do have a few Xerjoffs, 3, 4 if you count Italica, but Herbe Gold's a sweet fruit bomb. Way better than Herbe Pure. That's too like shampoo-y in my opinion. This is like more melony. I know there's no melon, but it's like more melony, mango-y, just kind of creamy, but not really. It's just like a fruit bomb, but not over the top like Herbe Pure was. I had to sell mine because it was just headache inducing. This, so long lasting, and it will definitely pull compliments. Definitely check it out, $45, and that's the Summer Feminine Cheapy for the first one. And there we go. That is Herbe Gold, or Gold by Bergermi. And now we'll be going for the office / everyday for the Feminine Cheapy. Now we'll be going with Pink Boa for the I'm just kidding, way too expensive. And yes, I've seen that. Make sure it's nice and, yep. So for our cheapy, feminine, everyday sort of wear, just don't even think about it, just put it on. We have got Bergermi Bombastic. Now this is a dupe of Tom Ford Bitter Peach. And if you know anything about Tom Ford, they are definitely not cheap. It's ridiculous, especially retail. It's like $800 for 100 ml. You'll never catch me paying retail for Tom Ford, or barely ever paying for Tom Ford ever. I don't even have one, and I don't regret it. Most of them don't last. But this, $45, can't really complain. It's just nice, sweet, kind of, not boozy, but kind of like sour peach, you know, bitter, as in the name. Lasts pretty well, you know, get you through the office. Not too overpowering. And I actually really like this. Especially the dupe. It's not even that far off. You will not catch me buying that $800 cologne when this exists. And this is great for a female. Men can pull it off, you know, definitely. But I would say this leans feminine just because it is quite fruity. So definitely a great office wear. Now that is the two for the feminine. Now we got the winter special occasions for the feminine cheapy. You can see I've been using a lot of Bergermis for my cheapy category. You might be wondering why, you know, because you do see on TikTok and YouTube and just in the fragrance community that dupes no good, they still aren't. They're, you know, just rubbish, terrible ingredients, you know, they smell terrible, they don't last, it's not well blended. And most of the time it is true, you know. Some dupe companies are a bit, you know, they smell quite off and they don't last. Bergermi's quite different. Some of them I actually don't like, I'll admit. A lot of them I actually do like. That's why I've been using them. You know, I wouldn't lie to, you know, I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not sponsored by anyone really. I had to work for this whole collection. It took a while, but I ended up getting it. But the point is, expensive doesn't mean good. And cheap doesn't mean bad. Like it's a big misconception in the fragrance community that, you know, if you got Louis Vuitton, you got SHL, all these Xerjoffs, all these niche and ultra niche, that you'll be smelling the best. But sometimes that's not always the case. You know, everyone has their preferences. Some cheapies actually smell amazing, you know? Like Spice from Extreme might get you more compliments than Ombre Nomad, for example. It just all depends on how it goes with your skin chemistry, and then also how you like it as well. Not everyone likes the same things. But I really like Bergermi, and that's why I've been using them a lot for these cheapy categories, because they're quite good, especially if you're balling on a budget. Now, for our going out for a feminine, one of my favorite ones, Rose Petals by Maison Alhambra. Now this is a dupe of Tom Ford Rose Prick, as you can probably tell. And I actually had this for a long time. You can see there's a few scratches on it, you know, I've dropped it a few times, but it's lasted. It's actually so good. As a man, I don't really wear this just because it is quite rosy, quite feminine. You can pull it off, but I wouldn't really recommend it. You know, you can though. It's good for layering, definitely. Like putting this with pink boa, that is really good. But this is a great going out special occasion fragrance. Lasts quite well. Very, very cheap, 40-ish Australian dollars. Could not complain. Definitely recommend this for the ladies. And that is the cheap female done, and that's my cheap category. Feminine, unisex, and masculine. And I reckon I'm gonna wrap up this video just because it's gonna go for so long, because I like giving a bunch of information about each cologne and each fragrance, as you may say. But I reckon this is a pretty good list, all under, you know, 200-300 definitely. This is 90, 140, and it might be expensive at the time, you know, a few $100s, especially when I was first starting out. Oh, a few $100s to me was like a lot, but these few hundred will last you years. 100 ml, that's around 1,500, 2,000 sprays, depending on the bottle size. That's only, I think, 70 or 80. I'm pretty sure 80, but that will still last you ages. Like if you only use these 3 colognes, maybe 2 years you might run out. So it's definitely worth it. And then you might upgrade into a better designer, or you might just keep it like that. Whatever floats your boat. But this is gonna end the video. Thanks for staying. Okay, so that now concludes today's video. That's Gold, Bombastic, and Rose Petals. 2 from Bergermi and 1 from Maison Alhambra. You can, if you want to know where to get these from, Bergermi, it's from the Bergermi website, and any of the others, just search up online. If you have like problems finding it, definitely like leave a comment and I can help you out. And if you want samples of any of the fragrances in my collection, check out fragrance.org for Australian only samples. Best prices you ever see. And yeah, thanks for watching. There'll be a part 2 and part 3 of the medium and expensive budget, of course, and you know, masculine, unisex, and feminine. And thanks for watching. Definitely leave a comment, subscribe if you can, and cheers.